Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this beautiful world. And I'm Vladi, and I've got an amazing Rita Montalto, and I'm sure I'm pronouncing it. She will correct me,
You're
Montalto.
pretty
And
close.
is it pretty close? Please tell us, how do you pronounce it?
Montalto. Everyone does
Montalto.
that. Yes, they struggle to pronounce it.
Montalto. Rita is a hairdresser with a big dream. She's an author and she is a teenage mindset game inventor. She has been in Hollywood working on her projects. I mean, she has so many amazing things going on in her life. But the reason we invited her here today is because she is launching her amazing new book called Adversity's Gift. And this book is going to blow your mind. The best way you can. So I invited Rita to talk about her book and tell us more about her so you can find out more and you can have a feel of her beautiful energy. And Rita, welcome. Thank you so much for coming.
I thank you for the lovely introduction.
I had to say hairdresser with a big dream because tell us more about it.
Yes, in a nutshell, that's exactly right. Um, yes, I've been a hairdresser since I was 16. Of course, I'm merging out of that now. Um, yeah, it's who would have known? I never really thought I'd fall out of love with hairdressing, but the minute I discovered personal development was the beginning of something new, and for hairdressing, it was the beginning of the end.
Tell us, how did you actually discover? What was the story? How did you discover the personal development and what made you transform?
Yeah, I'll never forget it. We were in Adelaide. My kids were only just little. My husband and our three little kids at the time. And we were walking to the beach, and there was this little cute bookstore that had like books outside in little
Mhm.
racks. And the Think and Grow Rich really caught my attention. I thought, oh, Think and Grow Rich. Oh, well, I've got to grab that. I mean, I had my own salon at the time and I was frustrated thinking, really, I work my finger to the bone, but I'm not getting anywhere. Like, what's the problem here? There's got to be some answers. So I thought, you know what? I grabbed it out of intuition. And so I kind of found it by accident. But really, as you know, there
There's
is no,
no
there are no
accidents.
that was meant to be. There's no accidents. So that night, even though I was on holidays technically just for the weekend, I couldn't wait to start reading. I thought, oh, this is going to be good. And oh my gosh, it rocked my world so much. Oh my gosh. I thought, why hasn't anyone told me about this book? And why is it just a book? Like it should be more than just a book. Um, honestly, that second I said to myself, this should be a game, but that's another story, right?
Mhm.
Um, so here I was reading it. Oh my gosh, 4 in the morning, I was still reading. And the whole time my husband was snoring. I didn't even notice it until I put the book down, but snoring all night and I didn't notice it. That's how I was so deep into it. And from
Mm.
that minute on, honestly, I devoured every single personal development book I could get my hands on, every seminar possible around Australia, overseas as well. And oh gosh, there was no turning back from that night.
Isn't it interesting how most of us who went through transformation, it's that moment when you grab something and you have these fireworks around you, the aha moments going like, where was this before? And I love the questions you said because when we're ignorant in a sense, not knowing,
Mm,
it becomes ignorance becomes a bliss in a way, but it is that moment where we're like, what am I doing with my life? And I think
mm,
the awakening and awareness is a crucial for everyone, and nobody can do anything for you. And I'm talking to the audience. It's like we sometimes feel like when something changes outside in the world, I will be this and I will do that. And that's not how it works. You have to change from within. And that's what happened with Rita. She changed. And for those who don't know, Think and Grow Rich is the famous book by Napoleon Hill, who studied for over 20
Oh,
years. He studied the most successful people. I know I can see that you've got it there. And really, he developed principles that you apply into your life. I'm going to use that word again. Apply into your life. Reading's not enough. And tell us more about it.
spot on,
So you
spot on.
actually, the book, Adversity's Gift, would that
Yes.
be something that you got inspired by after reading the book,
Oh
or
gosh.
you can actually mention the
Um,
game? That's absolutely fine to mention the game.
it's funny because, Bob Proctor used to say about the higher faculties and they get ignored. Like, I don't know, my imagination was that, I don't know, powerful. I don't know how you can really explain it. It was even there. I didn't even know that it was even there. So until the more you use it, it's like a muscle, right? So it just got
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, how did I think of that? And then you think of that, and it
Yeah.
just opens up a whole new world. But again, Adversity's Gift was an accident and yet not really an accident. And you know what happened.
What
I
inspired
couldn't
you? Do
sleep.
you remember that inspiring moment when
Oh,
you actually made a decision to write the book?
oh, absolutely. Virtually straight away, but I'll explain how it all happened. So one night I couldn't sleep because I was thinking of designing the game. I'll put this here and put that there, and then that's going to happen, whatever. And what it was, I just thought of, Bobby Joe is the protagonist, so that the main actress in the, not actress, sorry, the main character. Anyway, so just started thinking about the outback and this girl that developed, she wanted to help humanity with a game, but a board game. Mine's a digital, and eventually it will be a
Yeah.
board game. Um, and it just, like, night after night, I'd do one more chapter because, of course, I couldn't sleep. And I thought, I knew it. I thought, gosh, this is blossoming into something quite amazing. And so, really, probably a good 4 chapters in it, I thought, you know what, I'm going to make this a book because people can learn personal development in a story format. So I thought, well, look at this, with the game, they're learning personal development in a game format. But what about, thought to myself, what if they could learn personal development in a story, in a fictional story format? Although this is quite realistic, you wouldn't think that's even fictional, right? Um, and actually, some parts are actually true. So I thought, why not? So it didn't take me long at all, probably a good month into it. I thought, that's it. I'm going to do this as a Bedingham book. Sorry, I said Bedingham. It's an Aussie word.
No, it's fine.
Bedingham means for real.
It's
That's
your
what that
show.
means.
As
Yeah,
long as we don't swear, we're fine.
no, that's actually a clean word. um, yeah, so I was serious about it after a good month. I thought I'm going to make this happen because it will entertain and teach personal development as well. Like, how good's that?
Mm.
Yeah.
It's really needed as a mom of a 13-year-old who's now entering the world of the games. And, I'd love to swipe it all out in a way sometimes because, when they're too much on the screens, well, it's almost unavoidable. We need to limit them. But if they actually learn through the games and use them in a way and find the balance in everything, it's a great thing. And that's why I'm really passionate about you and the game as well, because when you think about it, it's the book, it's the game, it's the message. Doesn't matter what product you create, it is the message you're trying to pass on to for everyone,
Yes.
because we come to when we transform, the impact is huge. And when we think
Mm.
about, I remember, and I know all of us authors and creators come to, how can I serve other people, how can I help others to actually, if this awaken me, what can it do for
Exactly.
others? And like many
Exactly.
people talk about things, but this is a great path. And I still go back to Hairdresser with a Big Dream, because end of the day,
Yeah.
unless we
Yeah.
inherited the money on, like there is a chain
Mm.
of we're here, and we would all love to be more and do more and have more and give
Mm.
more.
Mm.
And we can
That's
do
right.
that, but we get so limited, and the thinking can be so limited by looking outside the world, and I don't have enough education, I don't have enough money, and I don't have enough energy, and
Oh,
and the excuses we make. And when you said
mm.
hairdresser with a big dream, it doesn't matter who you are or where you
Exactly.
are and what you've got, you can start right now from where you are with whatever you've got. And you did that, and you showed, and you will show even more. And like, tell us a little bit, what is the intention of your book, Adversity's Gift?
Oh, well, pretty much what you just said. Like, why keep this wonderful information to yourself
Mm,
when you can share it with the world for a better world? How I intend to do it isn't very unusual to how
mm,
anyone's done it, and that is including entertainment. But the message is extremely clear in the game and the book. Um, my intention is to help people, but when I was, well, I still do work. Um, I was in the past. I was cutting someone's hair and whatever, and that it's like you kind of open up to your hairdresser a little bit,
yes.
and it made me aware that, of course, then by this stage, years later, I'd done a lot of personal development study, and I still do.
Mm,
I do it every day.
yes.
I thought, oh my gosh, this person's mindset absolutely sucks. Like, oh my gosh, like if only she was aware, or only if only he was aware. And that was even more encouragement. And then I would offer a kind of word of wisdom or a little bit of,
Hmm.
information of what I've learned. And
Yeah.
then they would just look at me and say, oh, wow, I never really looked at it that way. And it made me, that encouraged me even more, just talking to my clients and seeing the need out there. People they're just wasting their
It
time in
shows you a
life.
strong
We've
why.
got limited time.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's like looking for why do we do what we do? And there's
Mm.
so many people who actually don't have the strong why. There's like, oh, I have to go to work to make money and then I have to pay the bills. But there is no this big dream where people don't believe in themselves they can. And I hear a lot, oh, I've just missed my boat. I was like,
Oh,
45. I was talking to a
so
friend
sad,
and
so
she said,
sad.
oh, I
Oh my
can't just
gosh.
jump from one thing to another. I said, why
Oh,
not?
oh.
What if you have another
See,
40 years, which is even more because when you
oh,
think about it, when we're born, we don't really become productive first 15, 20 years anyway. So it's
exactly.
it's the 20 years and now you have another 40 years ahead with the knowledge and understanding and everything. But I think it's the way of thinking, like you said, when you transform, I mean, we study every day because it becomes a way of
Yes,
life. So
of
it's like
course.
it's
Yeah.
not even acceptable that you wouldn't do
No,
something. But there's so much negativity out there, and that is the truth. It's like news are full of negative news and manipulations, and they already make people to think that something's worse coming, so they live in this fear
yeah,
all the time.
it sells.
And
That's why.
yes,
Yes,
and I
bad news
love your
sells.
book. I love your book
Thank
with the
you so
message
much.
of, yeah. Tell tell
Thank
tell
you.
us tell
Well, yeah,
us
look, it's hard to
about your
come to you.
campaign. So with your book, the launch of the book is happening in LA and in New York and Australia. Actually, Rita is Australian. I haven't mentioned
Yep.
that, but she does live in
Um,
Australia. Tell us
yes, I
more
do
about
live
the
in Australia.
campaign of the launching.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. It's going to be LA and then Vegas and then Dallas and then New York. And I've only ever been in LA before, so and never the other places. So I'm so looking forward to,
Yeah,
going there and checking out something new. But
that is
more than anything,
incredible.
just getting the word out there excites me. I mean, this book also makes a good gift for somebody without sort of, if you kind of, I mean, personal development books are brilliant. I love them. But some people might feel a bit of overwhelmed in reading one, like
Yeah,
people that are beginners. But something like this is great for beginners as well, and also people that are quite familiar with personal development. They'll still get something out of it. Definitely more than something out of it if you're right into it. But
which is
also fantastic for beginners.
which is great because there's so many people and to
I'm
be
talking about the
fair,
book here, not the game. The game
yeah,
is
yes, the
different
book,
animal.
yeah. And it's really great because when you think about it, like, well, I'm not sure whether you can guys see, but this is actually the cover of Rita's book, Diversity's Gift. I will be posting all the links underneath. But it's when you think about the story and it's for the people and in a personal development or non-personal development. I think this
Mm,
stuff
mm,
should be read by anyone, especially Rita's book, which is not in a in that detail, like some of the masters been
exactly.
studying this for years and putting lots of science and theology in it, which becomes
Yeah.
more more deep study, let's call it that way. And some
Yeah,
people just are not there yet with the consciousness, which is perfectly fine because, guys, remember, you are
exactly.
perfect the
Well, the
way you
majority
are.
of people are not. I
Yes.
mean, we keep it mentally fit and we're sort of more emotionally intelligent than the average, right? I don't
Mhm.
know how else to put it.
No, it's
Awareness,
perfect. Yeah.
um, yeah. So I've just done it in a unique way,
Hmm.
for the beginners to enjoy something that's not totally overwhelming. And then what's even better is at the end, I've got a QR code of me explaining the key points of what the protagonist did,
Hmm.
and how she was being at that point and this point, and then things like persistence and things like study and all the points, so that they're clear at the end of the story on what they need to know to do to be able to be like Bobby
Oh,
Joe.
that's great. Like, so you're
Yeah,
explaining
you know what I
actually the
mean? Like, if you're
principles
not
you
having to
use.
jot it down, yeah, I tell them the key points at the end,
Oh, that's
because
great.
they mightn't even be aware of it, especially for beginners. They won't be aware, they would have missed it.
Hmm. That is
Like
very smart.
exercise every morning, for example. So in other words, I remind them, well, she's looking after her physical well-being. So I kind of tell you at the end the exact key points it takes to
For the
succeed in
physical
every pillar
well-being.
of your life, not just emotional or
Hmm.
monetary or spiritually, but yeah, in all pillars.
I love that. Who would you say you became in the process of writing the book?
Oh my goodness. Who did I become? That's a good
The
question.
reason I'm asking is because
Someone a lot
usually
more
us
joyful.
joyful, okay. Because
Oh,
I
much
know
more
that
joyful. Yeah.
authors then actually learn much more and grow much more through explaining the message to others. Because the first
Mm.
way you actually grow is by studying and learning about the stuff.
Oh,
The
yeah.
second is
Big
teaching it
time.
someone else, and that's what becomes really
True.
impactful for us.
So true. And, I think it was Bob Proctor that said, until you're able to explain something, you don't really know.
That's exactly
And I
what
thought,
Bob
oh my
used to
gosh,
say.
it's so true. Until you actually
Yeah.
explain it, then you know that you truly know it. But when you truly, truly know it is when you actually apply it, when you actually do it. That's when you
Yes.
truly get it. Because I didn't get it for a long time.
Mm.
When I first read that book, I got it, but I didn't really, because I wasn't actually applying. It took me a while to apply it. Does that make sense? Yeah,
Yes,
but I don't
absolutely.
want people to take their time like I did to apply it, because with the game and the book, you can actually apply it much quicker than what I did,
What
because
I
you get
love
because
about Yeah, what I love about Rita's book is the simplicity. Like
mm,
breaking things to ridiculous because sometimes we just explain it in such a hard way. And this is something that I do, like in the coaching, I find myself that sometimes I speak to people and they're like, well, what does it really mean? So really talking, there was a guy on a TEDx show and I can't remember his name, but he said, talk to people as a five graders.
mm,
In fact, it's funny because when you watch, oh, actually, I don't want to go into politics and stuff, but watching some of them, they talk to people, and we must remember the audience. Like we study and do a therapy, and you actually really master the way you're talking to your audience because you make it really easy to understand, simple to apply, and really relatable because the stories are how we learn. We become, there is like Oprah Winfrey says, there
that's
isn't a
right.
story that is told that somebody else has not experienced. So it becomes relatable. And if you give easy, understandable steps, then people get better results because they know how to apply them correctly.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's true. And I found that with my clients. I'll be trying to explain something from a personal development, principle, and they're like, what? So I had to dumb it down, and made me realize, you have to kind of remember, the level that you're at, because you
So
don't
true.
realize you have to really dumb it down at the beginning. Yeah, yeah. But it was
I
funny because
wanna-
at one stage I was talking more about personal development than their hair. I thought it's time to get out very soon.
but that's
I
okay.
wanted to help
It's
them
like,
on the inside, not just the outside. So I'm
it's
that
what
passionate about it.
happens when we become
It's hard not to
so
talk about it.
Yeah, it happens when we become so passionate about things that sometimes we get on other people's nerves with saying too much about it.
That's true. Yes, that's so true.
Well, what would you say? Did you actually experience, like, I like asking these questions because sometimes people, just for people to understand, never give up in the process. You choose to do something. Did you find
Mm.
some challenges with writing the book? Or what was the moment you felt? Or did you just go smoothly?
And actually, considering it was my first one, it did go smooth. I wasn't exactly my first one. I did something co-wrote with someone else, but that was just very small. Um, it did go smoothly. Probably the part that was the hardest is the sequence. The
Okay.
sequence of, okay, I want this to happen and that happen. Okay, when should that happen? Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because all these
Hmm.
incidents are important to learning about personal development. It's the hardest bit.
Yeah.
Um, it's 107,000 words, so it's sort of not over thick and not thin either. It's a good
Hmm.
size. Um, really enjoyed it. Actually,
Hmm.
it's quite sad to know it's finished now. It's like, oh, I'm gonna
Well,
miss
do you
Bobby
feel there's
too.
another book in you?
Ah, yes,
Mm.
yes, I do.
Because
Possibly part two. I'll probably
yeah,
saying too much.
that's great because usually when we authors just start, it's just a never ending like starts
I
flowing,
know. I
doesn't it?
think at the beginning it can be overwhelming for sure, but what I did to help me, um, what I did to help me was I had little squares and I put the timer on my phone. And when I did an hour of work, I'd colour that in. But a lot of the time I could fit in a good 6 hours, sometimes only maybe 2 hours, depending if I was
Mhm.
working, sometimes even 10 hours. That was a great visual to say, okay, there is progress. It's not
Yeah.
all just in my head. There is progress and I can see it every day. Oh, look at that. I coloured in 10 squares today. I did 10 hours on my book
Mhm.
alone, of course. And
Okay,
that helped
that's
me.
good.
So I didn't feel overwhelmed.
Hmm.
It's like, okay, even
It's
if
so
I do
so
1 hour today, yeah,
yeah. It's so important to schedule your success, like schedule the book, even schedule the self-development, even schedule your self-care. And it is
absolutely.
something that when people put in a diary, even time everybody's these days, we're living this rush world, like
Mm.
I don't have time, I'm busy, I'm busy. And if we keep
Oh,
repeating this, we're
bad.
actually not
Yes.
really enjoying the journey because too
That's
much
the thing.
rush, it's a
Exactly.
disconnection.
Exactly. I mean, otherwise, if you're just thinking of just the destination, then what about the rest of the 99.99% of the time? What's
Yeah.
wasted? It's the joy is in the moment, live in the moment. Of course, you're putting the compass to the direction you want to go in,
Yes.
but you're
Yes.
actually really present.
Yeah.
And I feel it's the only way to be. It's
Yes.
not about the destination. Of course, the destination is great to get to, but it's the journey, the being. That's the gold is
Yeah.
in the being. Yeah,
So true.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah, it reminded me of Esther Hicks and Abraham. She used to say, find joy in the journey and you will experience immediate success. Because we
that's right.
are not present if we go all the way. Of course, we have to live in a vision, and having a big dream is where it starts.
Yeah,
But we need to reshift the energy and focus into the present moment and finding joy in a little things. Because if we do the little things in a greater way, that's the
yeah,
quantum leaps that actually then show. But consistency is really important as well. Did you, so as you
yeah.
were describing the book, you're really consistent in the writing. And sometimes, what would you
Yes, it
advise
was consistent.
to authors who just feel, they start and they procrastinate or never start or they get stuck in,
Oh gosh, you know what? Just do it, honestly, because you'll get momentum. And like at first, it's like it seems harder, but then as you go, it's just easier and easier and easier. And then it's like, oh my gosh, this is not so bad. So it's just
Mm,
the first bit. Um, and there's just ask someone just to help. And
yeah.
that's the best thing. If you're not sure on how to do it all, just ask for a bit
Mhm.
of help of someone that's already been there,
Yeah.
and done it already.
I
Yeah,
remember as you were talking, I remember, is it Zig Ziglar who said you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great.
so true.
And it's the first
Yeah,
step
it's
usually that people don't take, and then it just
yeah.
flows because you step into the energy and attitude are super important. And
Oh
like
yeah.
we have so much energy within us, we can do
Mm,
anything, but people just don't know how to direct it correctly. So if we
they
don't
don't.
direct it in the right way, then
Yeah,
we just have it. It's like you can purchase 5 presents, bring them, and if you don't open them, you're not going to enjoy them. So, it's not the
that's
action
so
of
true.
purchasing it, but it's actually using it and expressing what you learn and what you would love to do, and just never give up. It really is such a
That's
powerful
right.
message.
I
Yeah.
love your wisdom. Spot on, spot on.
I love
It's true.
yours.
People, well, I mean, that's what helped me with the squares because, as we're saying, like a journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step.
Yeah.
My first step was that little square of 1 hour work. And the more squares I seen, I thought, oh, this is great. I'm getting somewhere. Um, but the game is for the purpose of knowing what to do for, not perfect in sequence, but get clarity, total
Yes.
clarity, and then there's motion. So clarity first, then there's motion. So the
Mm.
game is designed that really you can't ever really be stuck. Not really.
Yeah, it's
Only
true.
if you're having limited thoughts. That's when you think you're stuck, but you're not really.
That was beautifully said. I remember Bob Proctor saying you live in an ocean of motion. You're never
I know.
stagnant. You're either moving
And
forward or you're moving backwards. There's no
I
such a
love
thing as
that.
being stuck.
That's so, it's, well, true, true. But, people just, they don't embrace their uniqueness and enjoy
Mm.
your uniqueness and don't feel like someone else is better than you are. I think it was DeMartini said something about that. If you're looking up to someone, you're actually looking down at yourself or something along
Yeah.
that line. I never forgot that. Yeah, like, and I love the saying, I love my sayings. Oh, I should write it just
Affirmations are really powerful. I love
it's
using them a lot.
I love this one. You are a drop in the ocean, but you are the ocean in one drop. Like no one else, another drop of water is not more important than you are. We're all born equal.
So
So I
true.
don't ever feel that someone else can do it better than you. And of course, you have to embrace what you're naturally good at and what you resonate with. So
Yeah,
yeah,
but that is the powerful. I love that saying. When I interviewed Neil Donald Walsh, he said, "Remember, you're in you're a source. So the source is the ocean. It's just
yes,
what you said. It's God or source. Everybody calls it differently, but I like to use the word God. And it's like you part of the ocean, so you're individualized wave. You can never be
correct.
separate from the ocean, but you're individualized. So you can choose to be playful, calm, or high, or joyful, or wild. It's the choice we have because we always have a choice. Always.
That's true.
And the
We're,
will to
we're
do things. And
that's
you're
right.
saying is just so beautiful. Tell us, what would be the final secrets? Like, what's the benefit of what would you say is the main benefit for a reader to read your book? What are they going to come out of? I know you told us they will actually understand but what would you love to see them coming out with?
To really just think that it's possible for anybody, that it's not going to be, it's naturally depend on how big your goal is. It's not going to be a walk in the park, and things are going to go wrong. And they went wrong for Bobby Joe for sure. Sometimes very wrong, but in the end, really, how can I put it? It's all about make sure aware of divine timing and that the
Mm.
universe, God, has a better plan for us, even though we might think, oh my gosh, my life is, why is this not working? I've done this, but why has this happened? But in the
Mhm.
end, it all works out. It just all works out. I don't want to give away too much. um,
Well, I'm trying to squeeze some secrets out of you.
yeah, that's right. I don't want to give away too much, but I think that the readers will all get a different thing out of it. And me emphasizing at the end what the key points and what faculties she used,
Mhm.
that'll help a lot. So different people will get different things out of it. But in a nutshell, I would love for them to be motivated by it, to be able to say, okay, what is my dream? Let me start
Mhm.
today. Let me start today.
Mm. Which is fantastic because, I really do believe that in one way or the other, whether we actually consciously realize this or not, when we were younger, I actually got inspired by books. And, like then it led to movies, but it was the books that really made me think because we're practicing our imaginations as you're talking about the higher mental faculties. And really, this is the key. people put so much focus into the 3D world. Of course, we live it, so we have to do what we have to do. But
Yeah.
the senses we use are nowhere near as close important as the higher mental faculties, and yet people don't even know. And you pointed this really well. And you were actually talking about this in a book as well, right? How you use them and how you actually grow.
Yes. So the most important faculties are the unseen faculties. That's the most powerful, is the unseen.
I love what you
Yes.
said,
Your imagination,
adversity's
your
gift.
intuition, like imagination, intuition, the whole list is unseen, and they're the most powerful. I mean, yes, you need your sight, but that's physical. Yes, your hearing. Yes, your taste, touch, but it's the unseen that's the
Mm.
powerful. And people haven't wrapped up their head around the fact that, thoughts are things, just as Napoleon Hill says, and very powerful things at that.
Yeah. I
So
remember, was
it's
it
how you govern those thoughts.
I think she was called, her surname was Kella or Kellner, something like
Oh,
Kella.
you
Um,
mean the blind?
the
Yes,
blind
Helen
lady
Keller.
who said,
Helen
yeah,
Keller. Yeah,
Helen Keller, that's it. Thank you.
yeah.
And Helen said, like, I actually feel sorry for people who have no vision. Like she didn't have actually the eyesight, but she said, if you actually don't have your vision in your mind, that's more sad than not seeing, not having your sight. Because when you think about that, I know a person who actually is blind, and he was telling us, he's an older gentleman, and he said to us, "You guys miss so much what's happening in the
That's
world,
right.
but because
We're the blind
you
ones.
can see,
Yep.
and yet you're not present and paying attention to what's around you. You don't." And when you think about it, what you just said was powerful, because we come to this world and we were given everything we need to create whatever we would love. And yet, as we
Yeah.
grow after 7 years, when the programming's kind of completing,
Mm-hmm. The
we
paradigm
just,
starts. Yep.
yeah, we live in an environment that is conducive to think limiting beliefs, and we
Mm-hmm.
don't believe in ourselves, and even the educational system is not really helping we could to kind of get us out there. And I always thought, like, why is this stuff in your game and all this stuff not in schools, because this should be in every
Mm.
school. But really, they don't
That's
really
our
want this
role.
in the schools, because then everybody would have a powerful minds and they could control what they do, and they wouldn't be.
Um, well, no, I think humanity's a bit far away from that, unfortunately. It's going to take us a while to evolve
There we
and
are.
really be aware and be emotionally intelligent, like we should be,
Yeah.
I believe, but then I could be
Yeah, it's
wrong.
true.
It'll take humanity quite a bit of time, because that risky paradigm is very tough and people make excuses for themselves without
Yes.
even realizing it.
Yeah, so true. Final thoughts for the audience. What about your
Oh my
beautiful book?
goodness. Yeah, look, please buy my book. Please gift it to someone that you love. Um, People even that you feel that could do with a bit of a boost. It would really help. And yeah, what can I say? It's
Well,
something really quite different and entertaining.
when you buy the book, which is available, Rita, when is it available? Is it 18th?
That's right, the 18th of March, 2020.
And they can get it
Yeah.
on Amazon, is that right? Or anywhere else
Amazon,
on your
yep, there's going to be
website?
there's going to be also another outlet you can get it from. But my website, so www.ritamontalto.com.
Fantastic. And I will put all the links for Rita under the video so you guys can connect. And I'm going to ask you as well, if you love the book or have any comments, do reach out to Rita. Authors really love to hear. We love to hear. And as she said, adversity, even if there's something you don't like, reach out to us. Like, it really helps author to understand and write a review. It's really important to write a
I would
review
love
for.
feedback. That's right. And
Yeah,
I mean, naturally, it's, there's no one product out there that's for everybody. It's just
true.
we're all unique, and different. But yeah, so
We
enjoy.
congratulate you.
Thank you
Especially
so
enjoy
much.
your beautiful
Well,
tour next week, all the lounges in all these amazing
you,
cities around
Valadi.
the world. You've done
And thank you so
fantastic.
much for asking me for this. I appreciate it very much. And
We
yeah, we'll talk
appreciate
again.
you
Thank
and your
you.
precious time. Bye,
Thank
beautiful.
you.